and her children. One little one came, almost touched the car at the back of the vehicle a minute ago. Now she's using her foot to kick the root base of these little acacias that she's picking up. Morning, madam. Truly remarkable, incredible, and wonderful, and all sorts of elephants are moving. They're heading south. They're going through from here. Eventually going to probably cut through onto Zoe's road. See if we can stay with them a while. If they cut through onto Zoe's road, they're going to eventually head. And if they go in a straight line from here, we'll bring them out towards Treehouse Dam even. I remember years ago we used to come in here with Karula. Often had her and the young ones on kills just off this area where we are now. Up the Karula trees here, where we've seen kills in the past. The little one that came up to us earlier, she's quite distinctive. We saw her the other day, so we have seen this herd before. She's got a very distinct notch out of the top of her left ear. I think that's possibly a tree that Mom must have broken, and it's hard to tell what little one's playing with. Except for that tree, that's easy enough. Aha. Not just a stick, it's a tree trunk from a sapling. The other thing. There you go, well done, child. Finally managed to bite through that trunk. See if we can move around a little bit to the side again. One family group, one family unit, I guess we could call it, that was part of that huge gathering we saw a few days ago. A lot of burrows here, very sandy soils. Another one moving past now, very. Gotta be careful we don't fall into any holes. Morning, Ed. Gosh, burrow systems here. Ed in Hawthorne asking about elephants. Ed's saying that we know African elephants are endangered. The Asian elephants, Indian elephants. Well, Ed, African elephants are endangered in some country, throughout most of Africa. Here in South Africa, yeah, that's what I was worried about. The holes everywhere. Let's see, sit here. Oh, sorry, little one. I'm going to have to follow them slowly. I think there are some places where Asian elephants are endangered. I think as a species, I think their population isn't too bad. I mean, they are revered in India. Ganesh being one of the some million number of gods in the Hindu culture, religion. But I think much like the African elephant, and for now, unfortunately, this is where we're going to stop and just observe. We are heading into thicker and thicker vegetation, but I want to follow them. At this point, if they move a little bit further to the east, they can end up towards Gowrie Dam. If they carry on going south, they can end up going to Treehouse Dam. I need to wait until they move off a little bit to follow them again. Maybe I can move forward again now. She's facing me. Just enough to see her. Elephants in Africa have been decimated. Their populations have been wiped out in many countries. But there are countries where their populations are stable, and I would imagine it's the same for the Asian or the Indian elephant. I'd imagine that there are places where they did occur in great numbers once, but over the last few centuries their numbers have dropped considerably. And to what extent, I couldn't really tell you, Ed. I'm not too sure of numbers and perhaps the geographic distribution of the Indian, or rather they call it the Asian elephant, because it doesn't only occur in India. And then there also are some smaller elephants, like our African forest elephants. There are forest elephants in parts of, where would that be? Parts of Indonesia, perhaps? Taiwan? Not even sure. Can't remember. spell that for me, please, Nikki? Oh, Wakan. Wakan. Interesting name. From Pennsylvania, I think. Oh, elephant born with teeth. Yes, they are. Oh, Montana, sorry. Wakan from Montana. They are born with their first set of teeth, and their first little set of tusks start coming out, and they lose that in their second year. And then their adult tusks start in their second year, but then their second set of molars come out for the third year. And then through life they'll have 6 sets of molars. As the skull grows, as the jaw grows, the next set that comes through is bigger and more robust. What is this child doing?
Trying to pull out that stick.
Trying to do what Mom was doing. Just standing right next to Mom, watching Mom. In fact, I thought it was going to get bumped because she was pulling pretty hard on that stick that she's eating now. She's chewing the bark off of a particular piece of bush willow. And so he was standing next to her, watching what she was doing, but he can't quite get it right. He or she, I don't know. Can't quite tell from here. The little one. Interestingly, you can notice that this little one doesn't show any tusks. And at its age, if it had the genes for it, it should. I'd say it's probably about a 3-year-old. A lot of learning that it's doing right now. Learning how to manipulate the trunk, learning how to manipulate its food. How many hours a day do they eat? From Wendy. Hello, Wendy. St. Petersburg. Probably most of the 24-hour period, Wendy. They do take a break a couple of times during the 24-hour period for resting. They don't sleep the way we know sleep. Elephants will take a break, especially in the heat of the day. You might find them standing in the shade, standing quite close together, ears flapping, trunk relaxed on the ground, eyes closed, head lowered, all muscles relaxed, wrists and knees locked. So probably 20 hours out of 24 or more elephants will be feeding. They have to constantly keep replenishing the food. It's a conveyor belt. Food goes in and food comes out, and the process is vital because there's only a small percentage of that food that they take in that they digest, and so the undigested material has to come out of the body to make place for new material. So it has to be pretty much a constant process. Obviously they take time off when they're swimming and bathing and mud wallowing and drinking. I got a stick. Finally managed to break it off. being Mom. Now what it should be doing is twisting the branch in its mouth as it feeds it through its mouth to get all the bark off. But it's something that it'll just have to learn over time.
Now it just bites it.
Now it's just biting it and hoping that it's going to get something. But that is... What's the cuteness level here? Between 1 and 10, probably about a 9. Or more. Push it up to 10. If an elephant is born deaf or blind, will the mother abandon it? That question from Ohio, from Deer. What are you doing, madam? Showing your child how to break saplings. She's got it down to a fine art. Yes, possibly, most likely. Difficult question to answer. I'd found a calf that was abandoned once. I was convinced it was deaf. And it was eaten by a lion shortly afterwards. Then I can see that groove nicely. Coming to see what Mom's got. I would imagine if it occurred that a calf was born blind, I would imagine that would be abandoned because it would be pretty difficult. Unless the adults guide it, I really don't know the answer to that. I've never witnessed a herd of elephants that appear to have a blind child, and boy, I've seen thousands of herds of elephant all over Africa. Very difficult to tell whether an elephant is deaf. So that would be a difficult one. I have seen a blind elephant, or almost blind, but she was an old lady. This was in Tanzania. She was incredibly old. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, but quite simply, the rest of the herd were very, very concerned about her. And as far as I could tell, she was still very much the active matriarch. They were guiding her. They were helping her get around. She was very nervous because she was blind. Or I'd say she was mostly blind. Any noise she heard, especially the noise of the vehicle, she would mock charge and create a big show. Although she couldn't really see what it was she was making a show of. A little one having a rub against Mom's leg. Are you going to drink? Yeah. Let's try and drink. Here we go. No. Christine in Texas asking if some elephants do not get tusks. Yes. Some elephants are tuskless, Christine. Whether they have the incisors still in the jaw, they merely just didn't grow out and they're not progressing. I mean, it could be this little one will grow up to be a tuskless, but it might just have the beginnings of the tusks in the jaw. They're just not going to grow the gene for almost tusklessness. And while it might have been a recessive gene way in the past, in some areas it's becoming a dominant gene because of the level of poaching in areas where elephants without tusks were left alone. So there was a higher population of tuskless elephants that were breeding and, of course, spreading that gene for tusklessness. So I think in some places in East Africa where poaching was excessive, you find a higher ratio of tuskless elephants. Love's leaning on this fallen tree.
Tiny little tusks there.
Yeah. I can see the upper lip sort of just where it joins the trunk, where they merge to form the trunk. There is a little bit of a swelling there. It's showing the tusks, yeah. Did you got to put his head up?
Yeah, you can just see them poking out. Might get out of here.
She's listening. She told her calf to stop moving and she stopped and she's listening. The rest of the herd has moved on further south of us. Just see another one moving behind her, coming this way. Woodland kingfish are catching insects around them, taking advantage of these large mammals that move through the grasses, much like the fork-tailed drongos do. Little one drinking now. A little bit old, perhaps, to be drinking, but I think since she's pregnant, she's probably lactating, because I think she's probably getting fairly close to term, maybe. That's a very big tummy she's got. I'm just south of Sandy Patch, where that road to Impala Plains crosses the power line. Just say between Sandy Patch and Impala Plains. Oops. Okay, copy that. Sometimes the calf will suckle even if there isn't milk, just that sort of a pacifier comfort thing. And I've seen even 5-year-old calves. That is very touching. They are such tactile animals, beings. Very important. Oh, these wasps are still emerging out of these pupa. Wow. Sorry, I picked up something earlier. I was going to tell you about it. And, well, most of them had hatched. See, there are a couple of wasps that are still emerging. 2 have just flown away. Claire wants to know, well, Claire doesn't understand. Claire's in New York. How elephants can get nourishment from bark and grasses. Nourishment and calories. Well, I don't know calorie levels, Claire, but nourishment certainly, moisture, proteins, vitamins. Bark carries all the nutrients to the leaves, and at this time of the year with a lot of things going yellow, the leaves are I think I need to move to see them better. Little one is just getting in mom's way now, so I think she's just given it a little bit of a reprimand. Okay, see if I can move again. Somehow. I can't see much of them. Take my jersey off. Grasses, well, I don't know the calorie levels, but certainly in terms of nutrient levels, depending on the time of the year, grasses obviously are nutrient rich because there are so many creatures that eat grass. There are so many grazers. Look here. Beautiful jumping spider. Come around this side. Wait, I want to see it. There. Going too fast. Hairy salticid spider. Brian's favorite.
Those are good.
Huh?
I like those ones.
Oh, you like those ones?
It's only when they get big and hairy that they start to cause problems.
trying to get into this little open patch here. She lets me in if I can. What happened to us there? With the leaves, rather with the trees changing, the bark is actually carrying a lot of moisture and a lot of nutrients at the moment. And that's also, the bark is the roughage. The bark is the fiber that they need to help move material through the digestive system. One. Maybe I have to try and move a little bit forward because you can't see. She's playing with a stick, trying to get it on her head. I didn't quite get that. Well, I got it from Sarah, but didn't quite get the question. Oh, well, they tandem nurse, Sarah. An older calf with a newborn. Maybe not at the same time, but yes. You know, Sarah, it's one of these things that one female will do one thing and another female will do something entirely different. This is a question that you could take 10 different cows and 10 different cows with children, and you might find different things. Some cows will let their older calves suckle, some of them won't. Sometimes older calves will try and suckle because, you know, I moved so that we could see this child playing with that stick, and now still playing with the stick behind a monkey orange. Okay, that's serious. Behavioral things. I can't say yes and I can't say no, because different elephants do different things. I think you might find something that we need to look out for. I think that's, you know, when it comes to behavioral questions, the only way to answer questions like that is to try and observe things, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why I love doing what I do, because you can never get final answers to things on a behavioral scale. I've seen elephants who've got new calves having other calves come and suckle, but if you're asking whether they do it at the same time, I can't say I've ever seen two calves suckling at the same time. There are very, very rare occasions where elephants have given birth to twins, and I would imagine maybe under those circumstances that you might find she'll suckle both of them at the same time, one on either side. Oh, look, she's got a lily. She's eating the bulb. She's just eating the leaves of it, and then she's picking up crinum lilies. Now just breaking off all the leaves. I suppose they don't need their leaves anymore. They're becoming dormant now. She picked up one and it came out with the bulb. Question from Long Island in New York. I've been to Long Island, Elaine, Nassau County. Elaine is asking about the behavior of the elephants at the moment, saying that the elephants lately seem a lot calmer than the elephants we saw a little while ago, a month ago or so. Don't think I could really, not quite. They're different elephants, I think, Elaine. Different elephants behave. But elephants also have good days and bad days. I think also maybe there is a lot of truth to that, in that a month ago a lot of the bulls were still in must, and they were probably causing a lot of problems with the female herds. So maybe that had some effect on things. Maybe that had something to do with it. So it could be that we're not having so many bulls around, and the bulls, of course, a month ago, there was still a lot of marulas around, and there was a lot of competition for the marulas, the marula fruits. Morning, Sarah, South Carolina. Sarah, will an elephant adopt a calf that has lost its mother for whatever reason? Yes, they do. They are very, very concerned about youngsters, no matter whether they're another cow's or their own. But usually you find, like now under the circumstances, these are all related elephants. It's one family group. But these 2 cows and 4 calves amongst them. I think this is the composition of the group. I don't think there are any others. And actually they're all coming to us right now. The calves are all approaching us. One from the left, these 2 from the front. They're all coming to say hello. Including the one little one that shook his head at us earlier. Her head. Hello, babies. You can see the fine hairs on the top of its head and the top of its ears. Hello, baby children. You're going to say hello to the whole world. Interestingly, the cows, the 2 cows, I'm just letting the children do, they haven't even called them. I haven't heard a rumble. But since the matriarch is moving off, they're starting to move back towards the adults. Looks like it could be 3 little girls and 1 little boy. This is the little boy coming through on the left. Copy, thanks. This is why I do what I do. I'll drive around for hours and hours and hours on end, see very little but trees and flies, so that I can have a moment like that. I'll do anything for moments like that. As for adopting an unknown calf, I think they might. There's a strong possibility that they will, especially in areas where they have a large population of elephants, large numbers of, big breeding herds, which are many different family groups, that somehow they might be connected in some ways. Let's move forward. This little one's going to play on the termite mound. Looks like there might even be a place on the top right of the termite mound where elephants have been. Oops, sorry children. Nobody reacted to that. It looks like things have been taking minerals from the termite mound at the top there. But elephants are one of the few animals that will suckle another cow's calf, even if that cow is still alive. And they will most certainly, if it's within the family group, look after a calf if mom dies. Morning, Becky. Becky wants to know if elephant bulls who are kicked out of the herd ever return to mate. Well, Becky, first of all, elephant bulls aren't really kicked out of the herd. Elephant bulls leave the herd after puberty, when they start getting older. There we have it. We don't get baby elephants on termite mounds very often, but there we have it. Yeah, good idea. I was afraid of that though. yes, the familial bonds of elephant last a lifetime, and bulls who have left the herd will return, not necessarily to mate. They're not likely to mate with their own family, but they do return for socializing. They do meet up with their herds again. The thing about an elephant society is they might not be together physically, but over time, when that elephant bull has been growing up with the herd for the first 15 odd years, however long he's been with the herd, he has learned where to find food. He has learned the feeding routes that his mother has taken him in the different seasons, and so he will probably move in that same I copied it. Trying to work my way where I'm going to go get through here. We're getting through towards Zoe's Road now. Might be able to squeeze through here, but there's cows. I don't want to drive behind too closely. I might not like it. I don't want to disturb her. Anyways, the area that the natal group moves in the different seasons to get different food, to be able to utilize different vegetation at different times of the year, will be the same route that the bull will do or use, the same area he will use throughout his lifetime, and he will come into contact with his family group quite often as he grows older. Probably seek them out at times, in fact. To socialize, to greet, to come and say hello. What is she eating? Is that a commonfora? Looks like it. Sweet root corkwood. Yep. Interestingly, the root of that plant that she's eating is like sugarcane. Terry, no, never seen an albino. Terry, California Terry. I have never seen an albino elephant. To get into some thicker vegetation now, and I think since we're so far between roads, we've either got to carry on through onto Zoe's Road. It'll be too far to go back to Impala Plain, Sandy Patch South. Monkey orange. A lot of leaves showing exposure to cold air. Leaves are dying off. The purpose of the dents in their heads. Sinuses, Katrina. Skull shape. There's not really a purpose. I can't dents on the side and the temples. That's where the masseter muscles meet up with the jaw, the skull. Mick in Alaska, what is the range? See, a question I'm still not to... It's another one, I'm not quite sure what you mean. The range of elephants in Africa. You mean where do they occur or where do they move? This little one. Getting down into the sand. It doesn't know how to pick up the sand and throw it on it, so this is an easier way. Just roll in the sand. Hasn't learned how to use its trunk properly yet. The range of elephants in Africa, if you mean where do elephants occur in Africa, I'd have to... Well, I'm not too sure which countries even still have elephants in West and Central Africa. I mean, certainly Gabon and Chad. They found some nice soft sand to play in. And they're tired, they want to rest. Have to rock to get up. I think some of the Central African and West African countries, the elephants have been wiped out, but I think, well, I'd have to look at a map and well, there's so many countries in Africa, hundreds of countries, and offhand I couldn't tell you which still have elephant. Certainly can tell you where the best populations are, but then, I mean, down in southern Africa, Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, to some extent Mozambique, not so much. Still have pretty good elephant populations. Thank you. Chris, in Australia, how many elephants in South Africa is the population stable? Gosh, I don't know numbers. I'm kind of loath to say things like the health of a population. I wouldn't like to be the cause of syndicates changing their focus to places where elephant populations are stable. Let's put it this way. southern African countries that have been conserving nature or that have had pretty good conservation ethics over the last few decades, half a century perhaps, or even over the last century, have pretty stable elephant populations at the moment. In fact, there are some countries that the elephant populations are reaching a level where they're starting to become concerned about the level, the number of elephants and the amount of space still available for them. I couldn't give you figures. I wouldn't even hazard a guess. What the range of elephants' communication from Jody. Morning, Jody. Their lowest frequencies are believed to travel several miles. Obviously, the time of day, the humidity, the temperature does have a large role to play in the distance that their low frequencies are able to travel. It is believed that they can pick up vibrations from the ground. Their feet are able to sense vibrations from even further distances. Interesting book to look for would be a book called Silent Thunder by Katie Payne, P-A-Y-N-E. About elephant communication and about the low frequency sounds. Katie Payne was one of the people who discovered the infrasound, the fact that elephants use extreme low frequencies. Found something wet to roll in over there. Now I've got a wet ear, this little one. Oh, yes, I guess rolling in Mommy's. I should have thought of that. I think he's saying it's dung. Good, thanks. Talk of giraffe drinking at Arathusa Dam. Well, unfortunately we're a little bit locked in here for the time being. I'm trying to think, I was thinking that maybe we should leave them be and head on, continue our journey this morning, since it is getting rather dense. We've had a super wonderful time with them. And I'd like to also just show them that I'm not going to be troubling them too much. Leave them with a positive experience of our company this morning. Still learning how to take branches off, not quite getting it right, to use the tusk as a lever perhaps, and just trying to bite it and pull it. It'll be a while before this little one, it's about a 5-year-old, 6-year-old maybe. Best you can do is just pulling at it. There you go. Bite it off the tree. And now it's important to twist it and chew the bark off, but I guess he's still got to learn some of these finer details of feeding, getting the right nutrients, getting the right parts of the plants. When in doubt, go for smaller, more manageable pieces. Well, it sounds like Scott and VM have managed to sort out the technical difficulties. They can explain it. I'm going to find my way out of this lovely patch of bushveld that we're in now with this family of Ellies. It's been a fantastic time with them, but we've still got some time to drive around, maybe find something else, go and have a look at one or two of the dams, see what is over there. So I'll hand you over to Scott and VM, and I'll see you in a little while.